Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Cristy O'Connor and Aggie Zinski, the founders of Athena Advisory Collective, a strategic partner to women-owned and partnership-led businesses. Cristy and Aggie help ambitious women entrepreneurs grow enterprise value, align leadership, and prepare their companies for successful exits. With expert advisory, hands-on execution support, and tailored growth plans, they equip founders to confidently lead their companies towards scalable success and fulfilling futures. Aggie and Cristy, a very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us, and thank you for the ad.
Yes. You got it. Absolutely. Happy to. Going to be a great episode. A lot to dive into here. I do like to start with your guys' background a little bit, though. So before the Athena Advisory Collective, can you guys walk us through what were you doing and what was really your inspiration to get into this space?
Great question. In the short term, we were working for another advisory firm where we found each other and decided what our future would look like. But prior to that, Cristy and I have similar but different paths. I started my career in consulting advising in a nonprofit space. I was doing technology commercialization and watching entrepreneurs who did not have ideas on what type of businesses they wanted to start pair up with engineers at the University of South Carolina and create amazing companies around those ideas. And I had no clue what tech commercialization was. I didn't know that every university had a licensing office in order for entrepreneurs to actually go shop an idea and create a company around it. I was fascinated by the world of entrepreneurship. And my first personal venture was in the janitorial space, commercial janitorial, which is a really fun space for people interested in that, in the trades. And then I worked my way through SaaS and had a really interesting journey in the tech space, and then went into food, retail, manufacturing. And before joining advisory, I was in the commercial laundry space. We did a little bit of robotics. We did a little bit of AI before AI became cool, and had my daughter, took a sabbatical and decided I needed to be in perpetual building mode. And the way to do that was through advisory. Even though I had consulted before and been an advisor before, it was more of a side gig than a full-time gig. I needed to determine who my ideal client persona was, what my value was. I had no clue what to charge. So going through the advisory firm that Cristy and I met in was a really strong foundation to us going into Athena Advisory Collective. And we really aligned on who we wanted to help, and Athena was born. But I'll give it up to Cristy to tell her story.
Thanks. My story, I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur. Grew up in a household of entrepreneurs. My dad was a home builder, always had his own companies that he did. And I started out as being a babysitter, and I had all kinds of people up and down the blocks. And I learned really quickly how to leverage my time. And I would allow multiple parents to bring kids to one house so that I could get more dollars. So I just learned at a really young age. After that, my entrepreneurship really started in the health and wellness industry, fitness, and that kind of background. I had my own Pilates and personal training studio. From there, I ended up, from an entrepreneurial perspective, I had 3 business partners. We ended up purchasing failing franchises in the boutique fitness space, turning them around and reselling them. So I had 13 locations in 6 different states, and I was able to turn them around in about 2.5 years to then be resold. After that, I needed a break of having 150 employees, and I had already been doing some consulting. And same thing as Aggie said, I needed a place to hone those skills, found our previous advisory firm. And then from there, we just realized when you're an entrepreneur, it's really hard to work for somebody else. So we stepped back into our regular shoes that we love to wear.
Love it. Quite the business history from both of you guys. So I think you guys both ending up here makes a lot of sense, helping these businesses scale them and then obviously exit them when the time comes. I'd love to dive into the collective today. Can you guys walk us through the work you're doing, who you're doing it with, everything like that?
So you've already said a little bit of it. We help women-owned businesses, partnerships, but also an entire slew of underserved entrepreneurs. There is a huge market out there to help entrepreneurs grow their enterprise value. Christy and I look at the 6 value drivers of business. Those are basically the same from business to business, whether it's sales, marketing, leadership, recruiting, productivity, which we also call ops, and finance, which is the spine of every business. And our aim is number one, to really align with business owners on the value of their business, where they are today to where they want to take their business. Is this something that is feasible? And most of the time, we actually expand their vision because they have a tendency to have that funnel guiding them through their business journey. Most business owners come to us because they are at a fork or crossroad and they don't know which way to take. And they always have that idea in mind of what is next for me? What is next in my business journey? Do I want to stay in my business after decades in the same business? Some people lose their excitement a little bit because they've been doing the same thing over and over again. Many business owners come to us because they wear every single hat in their business. And so our priority is to work them out of that day to day. And last but not least, Christy and I have had quite our own independent journeys with business partners, and some were good, some were bad. And we want to make sure that every business partnership has the best possible outcome. So partnerships were a natural add-on to our non-equity business partnership that we form with business owners that we work with, because that's something that we're passionate about, that alignment, that joint passion, and we become their personal advisory board in helping them take their business wherever they'd like to.
Absolutely. Big need out there for that, like we talked about earlier. I'm curious, is there a specific niche of businesses you guys find yourselves working with commonly, or is there really a wide variety of clients you guys are working with?
We actually are industry agnostic, so we work with a wide variety of clients. Everyone from, honestly, we've got 3PL, fulfillment, supply chain companies, to professional service industries, to government contractors as well. Yes, they still exist out there in today's market. So we have a huge variety, and then we have a huge niche in the group mental health area as far as group practices go as well. But yeah, no, as Aggie said, those value drivers in the business are consistent and the same across every single business. What really shifts and changes is more so the industry benchmarks and how they're aligning with those different benchmarks.
Absolutely. The work you guys are doing with these companies, obviously things don't change in a company overnight, right? So I'm curious, how long do your engagements with these companies typically last for?
That's a really good question. I want to start by saying that when we work with a business owner towards their exit can mean multiple things. And the number one objection that we get is, I'm not ready for you because I'm not ready to exit. Exiting a company takes eons sometimes, but we set the expectation by letting our clients know it takes 3 to 5 years at least. First, to get you in a shape where you can be sold or exit your company for its maximum value, because otherwise you're leaving money on the table. And like I said earlier or inferred to, is a lot of owners, when they start working with us, regain this passion that they had lost for their company. And now we're pivoting and expanding in ways that they didn't know they could even think about because of that funnel vision. I forgot what the question was, so that's going to be edited. I started strong and now I'm just like, what was the question?
You're good. I think you answered it. Why
Okay.
it could vary a lot, right?
Yeah.
My question was, what does the typical engagement period last for? And as you said, their goal is to sell, and they've just been writing off their lawn clippings from their house and their cars and everything like that. Yeah, the SBA is going to look at 3 to 5 years. You need to clean that up. It's going to take some time.
Exactly. And not just the SBA. It's just like when you're thinking about exiting your business, whether it is you stepping out and becoming more of a visionary chairman of the board of your company, and you have your leadership team that is settled appropriately in the right seats on the bus, doing the things that they're accountable for, then the engagement can last forever, because at that point in time, we become the advisory board, and we continue as that second and third brain of the owner and the leadership team in helping them figure out what other avenues could they be taking. For someone who wants to exit and sell their company, like you said, you have a lot of things to clean up. The majority of owners still own a lot of pieces in their companies. They could own the relationships. If they're in the sales space, they could own all of the processes that they haven't taken the time to document and put down on paper. They could own the financials. You would be surprised how many people are still their own bookkeepers, even at the $5-6 million level. That's a big no-no. Hire yourself a bookkeeper. It's the cheapest outsourced help that you can have to make your financials legit. Take the time to understand them as well. But yeah, as the more tentacles an owner has in their business, the less valuable it becomes to a buyer. And extracting that owner who often has control issues, and for those of you listening, you know what I'm talking about. It's really hard to take them out of the day-to-day and give them the confidence and trust that their team is going to be able to fulfill the same level of work that they're doing.
How common is that issue? Is it more common than we think of just business owners who are just way too involved in the business?
Absolutely. I can't think of a single scenario where someone came to me and was like, yeah, no, I'm only working on high level vision strategy. Like they've got their hands everywhere. And it doesn't really matter the size of the business, right? And a lot of times we do a lot of work around what we call an accountability chart versus an org chart because it gives clarity on who's sitting in those roles, what are the actual priorities and deliverables that are expected of that role. And then it also helps the owner start understanding that, oh, wow, I'm sitting in 5 seats and I really need to be sitting in 1. So those are the kind of things that absolutely, it's very common.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys gonna come in and put on your therapist hat a little bit, talk them
Oh,
out of it,
yeah.
because I'm sure it's hard to take it away from 'em. You ripping the toy out of the baby's hand.
It can be a long process if they're not in the mindset and ready to do it, right? But there are those rare occasions where they recognize, I now know I'm the bottleneck, right? And I need a solution and I'm willing to do the work.
Mm.
It takes a lot of work and energy to take yourself out of the day-to-day and being that bottleneck, and some people just aren't willing to do it. And it's so common. I still get business owners that are like, yeah, but it's just so much faster if I do it myself. You're never going to scale with that mindset.
Very true. It's good that you guys are good at what you do because those people need your help. That's
I
for
mean,
sure.
if you already got that from the last 20 minutes, that means we're really good at what we do.
Absolutely. Look into the back end of the business for a second. How are these business owners currently finding you guys to work with you?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Let us know if you're finding us out there. But obviously, we do a lot of marketing in terms of our presence on LinkedIn. We do believe that knowledge, expertise, and outcomes sell better than anything else. And so we have learned over the time to toot our own horn and talk about the success stories that we have with business owners that we work with. Referrals are still a big part, and not just from clients, but also from very strategic partners that we've curated over the years, people who we have built relationships with and who know work with the type of clients that we enjoy working with. We put a lot of value on relationships and the fact that we have to enjoy and like the people that we work with, and the feeling has to be mutual. So there has to be a certain value alignment. So we broadcast our values out there. We also have our podcast, which gives us a little bit of clout because people get to hear our own business expertise in the way that we ask questions to our guests. And yeah, strategic partnerships with organizations that are also serving the type of clients that we like to work with. So we're on every front. Yesterday, Cristy and I had our WeBank certification interview, and the interviewer was asking us, so who's responsible for that? We are. For everything, literally, because Cristy and I huddle every week and we come up with strategies and then we divide and conquer. And we also have senior college student working with us, helping us on the fronts that we don't have time to tackle ourselves. And down the road, obviously, we will start outsourcing a lot of those things. But right now, it's while we have time, we want to understand what is most effective and put our voice on things before we pass the baton after our processes are documented.
Absolutely. I'm curious, the intern you guys have working with you, what work are you guys currently passing off to him or her?
Yeah, a lot of our social media content creation, right? That's not, I will admit, I hate social media. I hate all those things, but I understand the value of it, right? And for those of you out there listening, an incredible book is Who Not How. That really helps you understand what are you good at and what should you not be doing because you're not good at it. And those are typically the first things that you want to go ahead and outsource and bring in people who they are the who that understands how to get the how done. And yeah, we typically leverage the things that we don't enjoy doing. So yeah. Anything else, Aggie?
Yeah.
That's a smart business owner right there. That's what we were just talking about, right? We got to learn to outsource. So Cristy and Aggie are preaching or they're doing what they're preaching.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd love to look forward to the future a little bit. Let's say the next 1 to 2 years. Are there any goals you guys have set for yourselves in the business that you guys are looking to achieve?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Again, we actually do what we preach. So Aggie and I get together and we do our annual planning every year. Things that'll be different for Athena Advisory Collective in 2026. Number one, we do want to be able to serve all entrepreneurs wherever they're at in their journey. So we'll be launching a membership for the smaller businesses so they can still get the hands-on knowledge and expertise that they need, but also being able to grow their business in a community. We just, again, leveraging time and our resources and knowledge, we find that is an absolute need and that we're excited to launch that. We will continue to expand on our advisory services that we offer as well. And as Aggie said, we have a podcast. With that podcast, it's the Badass Women in Business. We also run Badass Women Retreats. So we've got a couple incredible retreats scheduled for next year to get those business owners out of the day-to-day of the regular business and blend business and personal vision together so that they can move forward with clarity.
Love it. Aggie, we were talking beforehand. I'm not sure if I can mention it, but there was something else potentially that was cooking sell side advisory. Can we talk about that at all?
Yeah, Cristy and I, we see a big need, especially on the buying and selling side of businesses. And we feel like we're missing out on some long-term relationships because once a business is exit ready, we pass them on to our partners and we'd love to see them through because we've been part of their business journey sometimes for 5-6 years and they're ready to move on. Most of the owners that move on bring us back for their next venture, which is awesome. And we've seen more and more people coming and knocking at our door that are in the process of buying a business. It is their first purchase. They have no clue what to look for. They have no clue how to decide what price is. And as you and I were talking about, it's the Wild West out there in terms of how to price a business. There are methodologies for valuation. However, at the end of the day, this is a very emotional decision for a lot of sellers on becoming okay with how much their business is worth. Some people get way more than what they were expected, but the majority get way less. And so we want to make sure that we're educating both the buyer and the seller through the process of how to evaluate and how to maximize the valuation of their business through enterprise value growth. So yeah, we've been looking at what the best path for us is to get into that buy-sell space in an ethical way, specifically for women-owned businesses, because that's a huge underserved market.
Love it. Like we talked about, very much needed. Very much needed. It's the Wild West out there.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It is.
That's for sure. Where, I know we talked about it a little bit. Where can the listeners find you guys? Where can they connect with you online?
So we have AthenaAC.com. It stands for Athena Advisory Collective, but also Athena, Aggie, and Cristy, we wanted to just honor the founders forever and ever. And then you can find us on LinkedIn. Cristy and I are very active on LinkedIn, either through our Athena Advisory Collective page or through our own LinkedIn profiles. But obviously, you can also listen to the Badass Women in Business, which is available on all streaming platforms. We're about to start season 5 in January. We're upwards of 130 episodes published. We publish weekly, so you get to hear our lovely voices on a weekly basis with new guests.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Aggie and Cristy, thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure having you guys on the show.
Likewise. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
us, Zach.
much.
Absolutely. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of The Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Aggie and Cristy on their social media and their website, athenaac.com. All of their links to their podcast, social media website will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.